to another Indie Film Cafe's Short Film Saturday.
Woo!
I'm your old pal, the Moo Cow, a.k.a. Paulie Presenza, and I'm joined by...
Jonathan A. Moody.
How's it going?
Cow's going very well.
Moveless. Well, we're doing some cow puns. Because we always do cow puns.
Well, I do the cow puns anyway, just because whatever, but...
Yeah. But there's a cow in today's short film. And in fact, the movie is called Calving, or Calving.
Calving.
By Louis Bose, B-H-O-S-E. Filmed in Donegal and Manischewitz. This is a strange, disturbing film.
I'm not gonna lie. Yeah. It was very disturbing.
Yeah, so it opens up. There's a cow giving birth to a calf, and there are 3 farmers there. And when it gets born, the first thing they say is, "What the fuck is that?" So the next thing is, there's this veteran in his little vet truck driving around, and he gets a phone call, and they're like, "We've been trying to call you," and he's like, "Well, it's summer hours or whatever. Like, you need to come over here. There's this weird calf that's been born. It's got no legs, and it has been screaming ever since." And that's like, okay. So he goes over there, and he has to go and see it. Well, first, I guess they interview him. The locals interview him, and they imply that he's been around the county before, but he doesn't seem to remember, which is kind of odd. And in the background, you can hear this horrible sound. And it's not like screaming you would think screaming. It's more like this drone. It's like the 7th trumpet of heaven is being sounded.
I know, it's so
it's really disturbing.
This droning sound, yeah, like absolutely.
And that's what's coming from the baby cow.
Mm-hmm.
And nobody can explain it, and they're hoping he can figure it out. And he's like, I guess I'll go take a look. And so he goes over there, and
he throws up.
Yeah, he can't even get close to it because he starts throwing up. And
he says like that never happened before.
Not a good sign. And he goes in there, and it cuts away, so you don't actually see whatever the horrible thing is going to be. But it's enough that he's got to go to the bar. And so he's in the bar, and he starts getting a drink, and then another guy shows up who I guess is another local farmer, and pretty much says, we've seen you around, and we don't really want you or your kind out here. And the guy's like, okay. And then he gets a couple of beers, and then he goes back, I guess, to try and do something about this cow.
But he goes naked.
And pours the 2 beers on top of him, and he goes in, and then you hear him screaming.
Well, but the other thing stops. The droning stops.
Yeah, the other thing stops. And so we're like, what the fuck happened?
Are they eating him? What's going on? Like, what in the world?
We don't really know, and it's very strange.
It's kind of like, it's a short film version of The Lobster.
Kind of, except it's a darker, more disturbing version.
I know.
And it's just
at least The Lobster had some hope,
Yeah.
in it. There's no hope.
I mean, maybe the baby cows survived. I don't know.
I mean, maybe that's what it was. It was hungry.
And the implication is that they're saying that whatever, this guy must have come and done something to the mama calf before, because they said the mama calf was odd. They don't say how, though.
No.
And it was I didn't quite understand what they were trying to imply about that, but he didn't seem to know anything about it. He's like, well, this is a big county. There's a lot of cows. There's a lot of farms. I go all over the place. He doesn't seem to remember that one, but apparently he was there because everybody
recognized him, except for him. And him recognizing everybody else.
He seemed to know exactly what to do,
or at least, yeah.
Now, why he had to get naked and pour beer on himself in order to approach it, I don't know. So I'm wondering, is this partly like a black comedy and we're just not getting the comedy part, or
yeah, I mean, I don't know.
Is it just so grim that we're just trying to build something that's not there?
I don't know. Maybe like they just want to make something so fucking weird that you don't really like you don't have an answer for it.
That kind of stuff happens, and it is disturbing. If you have a farm and you're used to farm animals, every once in a while, something will get born that shouldn't be the way it looks, and it's sad and it's a shame, but it's also freaking terrifying because normally you want a nice, healthy, pretty little sweet baby cow, and in this case, you're getting a monster. And
I guess. I mean, it's just, it makes this nasty noise.
Yeah, and the idea is, especially when it comes to domesticated animals, we've controlled their existence. We've sort of bred them in such a way so that there's certain traits will come out, but we don't really have total control. Nature ultimately has total control, and nature can do some weird, fucked up shit. And the fact that we never get the explanation as to what this thing is or what's going on makes it kind of even more creepy to me.
Creepy, yeah.
So yeah, I don't know. I'm very curious. I'd like to see more of this person's work. I wonder if they've done anything long form before, maybe before or after. I'd be very curious. I know that since the digital revolution, there have been a number of films shot in Ireland, coming out of Ireland. This one was in Donegal, and it looked really, really nice.
It's pretty.
Yeah. So there is kind of an underground film industry going on out there, and a lot of it is kind of odd.
And I always like movies where you see the driving, and in this case, he's talking to, because you can hook up your phone to the radio basically, and everything, and he's talking to that or whatever. And I think, to me, that's that's more realistic with what goes on now. But it was just nice to see him driving down, looked really nice outside, and I mean, I wouldn't mind driving down that area.
Oh, yeah. I mean, I haven't been in Donegal, but I've been in other places nearby.
Dublin?
Yeah, well, Dublin's not really nearby, but I've been up in the north of Ireland. But there are parts where I wonder if they're trying to be funny. It's like, when he asks them, should I go see the calf? And he's like, no. And she's like, yes. Sort of at the exact same time. And then they end up going to see it.
Well, because that one guy didn't seem like he liked him at all or whatever. And the girl seemed to be the one who asked him to come and wanted him to. He knew he was the only chance to figure out what was wrong with this thing or whatever. So.
Yeah, it was very strange. It's very interesting. You can see it. Alter has a channel on YouTube that has a bunch of short films. That's where I get a lot of mine from. And this is on YouTube, so definitely check it out. I think.
Did you watch it before you downloaded it?
Yeah, and that's one reason why I got it, because it was weird, and second is because
it's a cow.
Cow. So you don't
get to see a
lot of weird cow movies.
You don't see a lot of that. So.
Yeah, but that kind of farm horror sort of thing doesn't happen a whole lot either. So this was interesting. I think you should check it out. I would love to see if this guy has done other things. Like I said, some feature format films. I'd be very curious.
Maybe.
It looked really interesting. It's, the digital format really, really seems to work well for short films, especially in that area. It looked very dark and sort of desolate, but beautiful at the same time. It was very cool.
Yeah, because it showed that it was light at, during the day or whatever. Then we get to night and it was dark, but it was still pretty good. I liked it. I don't know. It was a good movie.
Yeah. Kind of weird. I know you don't really like a lot of the ambiguous kind of movies, but
I would rather, have a ending where I can understand what the fuck's going on. But
the thing is, it's hard to really do, unless you're going to do an exposition dump, but we hate exposition dumps.
Right. And honestly, I would rather, if this is where they're going with it, then go with it like that. But if it's, sometimes you see movies where they don't have a clue what they're doing. Yeah. So and that's why it's weird or whatever, because they haven't figured it out. But
this feels more like this is a mystery that's just not going to get solved.
Yeah.
Although, at the very end, when the cow stops screaming, the guy starts screaming, and we're not exactly sure why. It doesn't sound too happy.
Well, I was pretty sure the cow's got to be eating him in some way or another, or whatever, and that's why he's not screaming anymore, because he's maybe hungry, and that's maybe why he was whatever.
Yes, I don't know, or maybe Mama.
maybe Mama is hungry. I don't know. Mama was big.
Maybe Cthulhu's in there. Cthulhu.
Cthulhu.
It's hard to say, but it kind of leaves the audience to sort of fill in the blank and use your imagination. And
we'll definitely leave a link to the actual thing, the short film, so you can check it out.
It's cool. It's interesting.
It's definitely a different experience. So I would definitely recommend it.
Yeah.
Especially if you're into movies that sort of don't really have a very cohesive ending, or whatever.
Ambiguity.
You don't know what the fuck just happened. I mean, it's still what the fuck.
I mean, I expected to get kind of gory when I first saw it, but it didn't go that way.
It didn't go that way.
Which is, I don't know, kind of good.
I think that's even better because,
I don't want to see...
the gory would be, the standard thing to do.
Right.
But to make it where you're just like, what the fuck just happened?
And either it would be a shitty CGI effect or they would make some obvious crappy puppet, and it's just better to let people's imagination go with it.
Like Sleeping Cows Lie.
Yes, there you go. But anyway, I thought this would be an interesting short film to do.
Definitely was, man.
There you go. Well, join us next time when we're going to do another short film for Short Film Saturday here on Indie Film Cafe, and we will see you on the flip side.
Bye.
Bye.